So you don't like your job and you want to leave soon or next year. Sometime that's not now. Because here's the thing, there's a ton of practical reasons for staying in a job you hate, but underneath all those reasons are some ridiculous beliefs. And today I want to walk you through the 6 most common reasons why we stay in a job we hate and what they really mean. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Sarah Curto, and I am the career coach who helps unhappy professionals find their dream jobs, where they work less hours, make more money, and finally feel fulfilled and happy doing work that they love. So I come here every week because there are 80% of people are unhappy in their work. They are either hating it outright or tolerating it. And I want to help as many people in this world find their dream jobs, which is why I come here every week with a ton of incredibly amazing, valuable information that's free for you. So hit subscribe so that you don't miss a single one. Okay. So why we stay in a job we hate. Now, I'm very familiar with this subject because I stayed in a career that I didn't like for 15 years, but I specifically stayed in a job I hated for 4. And I knew, so my first day, my very first post mental health days, career, on my very first day at my very first company and job in human resources, I knew that not only was the career probably not for me, I also really knew that the company wasn't. It was highly competitive. It was dog eat dog. It was not me. But I used all 6 of the reasons that I'm going to go through to keep me there for 4 years. And unfortunately, while I spent many a days daydreaming about my I quit day, I never got to have it. I only left there because I got laid off, embarrassingly enough. So I want you to have your I quit day. I want you to have it. So I want you to hit the like button. Let me know. Does this resonate with you? Do you hate your job? Have you been staying stuck in there? Do you have an I quit fantasy that you're desperate to play out in reality? So hit the like button to let me know. Okay, the 6 common reasons. Now, as I go through them, comment below to tell me that you are using this or have used this against yourself to keep you staying in this job that you hate. Reason number 1 is the thought, it's too late for me. You finished your degree. You have had your kids. You're over 40. You're close to retirement. You feel that your ship has sailed, and that since it is too late, that you need to suck it up and be thankful for the job you do have. Not true. Not true. My message to you is you still have time. I know plenty of clients who had this thought. I've worked with a ton of people who are in their late 50s, who are 5 years out from retirement, that have decided that the last few years of their career, those are going to be the years. They're going to love the heck out of them by either changing career or changing jobs, or finally getting that promotion, so that they can say to it I don't know, a lovely farewell. I don't know the saying. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I never know the sayings. But I want that for you. There is literally never a bad time. It is never too late for you to prioritize your fulfillment and your happiness in your career. It can happen at any point in time. Now, if you're unstuck, so this is probably what happens, because this happened to me too when I was in a place that I hated, was that I was unsure of what it is I needed next. Did I need a new job? Did I need a new promotion? Did I need a whole new career altogether? So I have an exercise for that. Get unstuck right here, go watch it, figure out what it is that you need to do next, because then that will help you decide all of the rest of the strategy. We need to come up with the objective. Okay. Reason number 2 that we use against ourselves to stay in a job we hate, and that is I am afraid. Because let's face it, change is scary. The unknown is terrifying. And the thought of failure, the thought of you trying to go after it and it not working, I don't know, it's enough to have you probably quaking in your boots. So you say, and you may say to yourself that there's no guarantees. The grass is always greener on the other side. The whole devil you know thing. These are all of your excuses and that allow you to succumb to your fear. Kind of lets this fear dictate what's happening, which is exactly what it wants you to do. Our brains don't like change. Like, that's just the way it is. And fear is the voice that helps us stay the same. It likes to keep us in check. Our brains would rather be in a horrible situation because it knows the horrible situation rather than try something new because we don't know what that new situation is going to bring to it. So we listen to it. We listen to our brains. We listen to our fear because at the end of the day, we don't really want it yelling at us. And we may think that it's all well and good for other people to do it, but that they're different. They aren't afraid, or that they're able to do it because of money or education or something specific about them, which isn't true. They are terrified. They're just doing it afraid. So my message to you is you have to be brave, and you can't be brave without fear. And I want you to, your fear is never going to go away. I want you to recognize that. I say this to my son all the time because he has anxiety like me. And he, just the other day, he was afraid to ask this one child in our area to go play. And I just said to him, the fear is never going to go away. You can think waiting until the fear goes away is going to happen, and that's the best time to ask, but the fear is not going to go away. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only thing that's going to change is you're going to add regret to the mix. So not only is fear still going to be there, you're going to regret. You're going to regret the hour that you sat there hoping that fear is going to change, because fear will always be there. So I don't want you to let fear to drive your car. I love Liz Gilbert's metaphor or analogy of fear and how you are the one driving the car. You, like, fear won't leave the car. Fear is stuck in the car, but you can certainly send it to the trunk or the back seat at least. And you can certainly say to it, I hear you, but I'm driving the car because I don't want you in 10 years to regret that you never did anything. In the hopes that fear will go away, because it'll never, ever go away. So be brave. Do it scared. I live my life doing everything scared. That's like my motto. It's what's going to go on my gravestone. Okay, reason number 3 why you staying in a job you hate is I am not good enough. Because being in a job you hate really does a number on your confidence. Like, your confidence really starts to go low. And the star of the show of poor confidence when you're in a job in the hate is typically that you are not worth it. You're not good enough. You can't do it. You're not deserving of a job you love. It's for those other people. Now, this thought is it's a heavy weight that we carry on our shoulders throughout all aspects of our lives. That's where it's dangerous, because it may start in our workplace, but it generally starts to seep into other areas of our lives, and it slows down our forward progress in many different areas. It drains us of all our energy. It can get way of enjoying not just your career, but your job and your life. And I know this for me, like, the only place I never lost enjoyment was really my exercise. And that's because I do it I was doing triathlons at the time, and I guess also half marathons, because for mental health reasons. Thank goodness I still had that. But I did not like seeing my friends because I did not like to continue to talk about. I didn't like talking about myself in general. Never mind to have the continued conversations of no, I still hate my job. Vacations sucked. Like the first few days were just decompressing from my crappy job. And then the rest of the second half of the week was anxiety about having to go back to my job. And like, that's the thing. All of this stuff just slows us down. It drains us of our energy. It kind of seeps into all areas of our life, which is why it's important for us to get out of it. Now, my message to you is you are worth it. And I want you to start surrounding yourself with people who value you, who build you up, and who believe in you. That's a great first step. Finding a cheerleader. That's why I think some of my clients stay in my life. I stay in their life for so long because I am such a passionate cheerleader for them. They know I'm always in their corner. So having someone like that to help lessen the load and remind you of your worth is key. Now, we also want to start building our own confidence. So here's one of my most popular videos, Building Your Confidence. It's my 5 steps to building your confidence. It is what worked on me. It'll work on you. It's a really good, effective way to feel better about yourself, but most importantly, to have your back through thick and thin. Okay, reason number 4, you're still in a job that you hate. I don't have time. Yeah, life is busy. If you're commuting, if you're working long days, if you have all of these other life obligations, family, friends, kids, parents, houses, it leaves us sometimes barely enough time to sleep, never mind to try and figure out what we want to do next, and then to go after it. I want you to think about it this way. I think it was Laura Vanderhoot. I think that's her name. She's a time management expert. She has the saying of like, I don't have time. I don't value this enough to make the time. And it's like a gut punch. It's like one of those ways that you're so honest with yourself. It's like hurts. But it's true. Sometimes we just need to figure it out to make the time. Writing this book, I realized in October that it's going to take me 10 years to write this book. If you don't know, I'm writing a book, not a nonfiction, like a romance book. It's like a love story. It's amazing. I love it. But I realized that if I didn't make the time, that it was never going to get done. So I had to shift my whole schedule. I start going to bed earlier. I wake up earlier so that I can write in the morning. I write when the kids are at climbing because they rock climb. I just squeeze it in as much as I can because it is important to me. And it energizes me. That's the thing. Even when I was starting my business, I was doing the same. I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. while I was still working and doing it. And I had literally no problems doing it. It was the best part of my day. So like the work to get out will help energize you, and then it will make it easier. But if you're procrastinating, there's a stop procrastinating, get things done YouTube training that I did that I want you to watch. Okay, reason number 5, I'm too stressed. This ties in with the above. When life is busy, but often it causes us to feel stressed and overwhelmed. And when our brains are overwhelmed, it just shuts down. We literally can't do anything. And so we ignore everything, ignore our feelings, and we stay stuck. And I understand that when we're stressed, I understand the thought of adding one more thing to your growing and never shrinking to-do list is overwhelming. It feels impossible. And even if it is like something you want, like it's just how. But for the sake of our health, you can't stay stressed forever. And when you hate your job, that stress is only ever going to get worse. Like it just doesn't naturally go away. And take it from me, someone who was there, it really begins to suffocate you. Like I've talked about how it went, how I felt like I was drowning and that there was no way to be saved. And I felt like I could not even reach out for a life raft because I was like barely treading water. So there is an option though. Options that I didn't take that I really want you to take. I want you to take a mental health day if possible and only focus on you and not on your to-do list and not even a new job. Only focus on how you can reduce your stress load. I want you to brainstorm how, like, where is 80% of my stress coming from and what can I do about it? Sometimes it's letting it go. Sometimes like letting it go as this is just going to stress me out and there's nothing I can do about it. And others are, okay, maybe I can do something about this. Let me see where I can do. Um, there is possibility. But my message to you is do one thing to reduce stress so you can start living your life so that you can feel excited again and hopeful again so that you can find a way out of this job that you hate. Okay, reason number 6 and the last reason, and this is one of my longer YouTube videos. So if you're still with me, bless you. Thank you. Number 6 is I don't know what I want. This kept me stuck so long. When we were stuck in jobs we hate, with bills to pay, with mouths to feed, and constant messages from family and friends and society, especially right now about how it's not the best time to leave, and this is what your career should look like. And it can be really hard to know what we want when we have all of this stuff going around. And I want you to think back to high school. What was the message that you heard? I know for me at high school, there was only a few career options that were ever really discussed. So I'm an overachiever. So I was an honor roll straight A student. And I was always talked about, why don't you be a lawyer or a doctor? I was going to be a psychologist. That's what I was going to be when I graduated high school, because that was the things that were sort of discussed, all of these like little micro careers. And if you didn't do too well in school, which is crazy that this was the only option, but they talked about you going into a trade. And if you loved school and you were good at teaching, they talked about you being a teacher. Sometimes they talked about business. They talk about business a lot more now than they did when I was in high school. But really, they talk about like 5 career options, and that's it. So we live in a world where there's careers that did not exist 5 years ago. In 5 years, going to be brand new careers that don't exist now. There are so many niche jobs out there. Oh, I just heard of an incredible one. I forget what it was, but I love hearing about these niche jobs out there. It was something in the museum space. Anyway, it was like amazing. But there are so many positions out there and it can feel overwhelming, but the world literally is your oyster. And I love thinking that the world is my oyster, that I can do anything I want to. I love to continue to fantasize about it, because what it does is it makes me hopeful for a future of where I'm always fulfilled and happy in my career, even if my career ends up changing at some point. Now, there are a few things you can do to figure out what your fulfilling career looks like. That is some self-discovery. So that is my message to you. Self-discovery is the answer. So if you haven't, go watch that Get Unstuck. I'll link it again. And also discover your purpose. This is an amazing exercise. Everyone should do it at least once, so that you know. Okay, that's it. 6 reasons why you have stayed in a job you hate. I won't recap because this is long enough, but I do want to invite you to join me in the Find Your Dream Job, because let's take you out of that place you hate and find you a place that you love, where you have more time because you're working less, you are making more money, and you are less stressed. You are feeling way more confident, and you're fulfilled and happy doing work you love. The link to join is below. I'll see you next week with another training. Take care. Have a great one. Bye.